Welcome into the PB&J Trench Talk podcast. I'm your host, Draft Guy Jared. He's your other host, Parker Blake. We're here again to talk some trenches. We've got a whole lot of stuff that we have been kind of slacking with, not gonna lie. We've both been traveling and working and adulting and all of that fun stuff. So we've got another preview episode. We're back with the preview episode, Parker. How you feeling about it?
You know, I'm starting to like the previews more and more because, the recap's fun and all, but it's also like I feel like most of our recap episodes end up being like, yeah, we were definitely wrong about this, and you can't be wrong in a preview. I feel like
that is true.
This looks fun. This looks fun.
By the end of the show, all the predictions will be right. So
exactly.
It doesn't matter. That's such a good point. So we do have just a couple of things we do want to talk about last week's football because it was exciting. There was some exciting football last week. I think we can agree, especially in the college front. Who doesn't love good rivalry games and upsets? There was some dogs winning on Saturday.
That's why you had all your money on them, right?
Yeah. I was, oh gosh, I made some really bad bets on Saturday. I was just riding because there was so many home dogs. It was like money lines everywhere. And I think I hit on half of them. So that was pretty good.
You hit on half the plus money. I mean, you're looking pretty good.
Yeah.
I did. I had a horrible. So I was driving down to Arizona last Saturday for the game, and it felt to me, and I was driving, so I was only listening to the game. My wife was watching the game in the passenger seat. From what I was experiencing, via my ears, I feel like I had an awful beat that I can't wait to talk about. But that was horrible. So let's get into this thing, huh?
All right, let's do it. We do want to shout out the Chicago Bears for after we did a whole film room, and I watched both sides of the football and came away pretty impressed with the Bears trenches. They went in on Thursday night, so that and they actually kind of kicked the shit out of the Commanders. Yeah. It wasn't much of a game. Did not expect that, but go Bears. Bears.
Rip Dick Buttkiss, man. That was.
Oh yeah, in honor of a goat. So that was fun. We have a film room later on in the show, so we're going to see if we can go for a 2-week bump. I'm playing with fire with this film room. So.
I'm excited. I can't lie.
You're not going to enjoy it when I actually pull it up and see who we're talking about. Oh, no. Especially if they perform like Gervin Dexter did, who had 6 pressures against the Commanders. So that was pretty good stuff. But I really want to talk about Saturday. College football. I was sick Saturday, so I just sat on my couch and just healed myself with the power of college football. So I watched the Red River rivalry. I had the Oklahoma money line. That was one of my bets. I was like, you know what? Screw it. Boomer Sooner. Let's roll. Something magical can happen here. And it did. They totally upset Texas. Quinn Ewers came out rocky. And the Sooners jumped on it. That defense is so exciting. They really held Texas in check. And that last drive of the game, Dylan Gabriel, corner of the end zone. It was one of the most electric things ever. I love college football because of moments like that. It was just a super exciting, and it was the first game of the day. It was the noon kickoff game. Nothing was gonna top it, man. It was so good.
No, I had Oklahoma plus 5.5, and I knew that was a lock. I just didn't want to put the money line on it. I had it in a parlay, tried to play a little safe. I had a second parlay, however, with the under, which I thought was a lock. I'm like, there's no way Oklahoma walks down the field in like a minute and a half, and they did it in 4 plays.
Yeah,
I was under, but it was like 5 points because I think it was like 60.5 or something like that. And then in 4 plays, they drop. I'm like, how is this defense falling apart on me now? Like it's been fine all day. Like, why are we falling apart here at the end? They just weren't playing pass defense at all. They're like, no, we'll let him go.
And he was scrambling around. It was just really exciting. Also, that goal line stand they had against Texas to keep them out. Oh, man, that's the stuff legends are made of, man. That was so good. Oh, it was
I
such
always
an
root for
exciting
Oklahoma
game.
in that matchup, man. I was pumped for the win, but man, I was like, dang, you couldn't just keep it under. You just couldn't. That was an awesome game. That was a great way to start a college football Saturday, man.
It really was. I was just trying to see what game I moved on to next because it was just like constant. It was it felt like a barrage. The next game I watched was Bama A&M. I had the A&M money line, and it looked like a good bet till the fourth quarter.
Yes, it did.
I was like, shit, man. Jimbo Fisher, just oh gosh, we're gonna have so many conversations. I don't know if you've been involved in any of the clock management conversations from this past weekend, but Jimbo totally fumbled the bag and punted on a 4th and less than 1 in the fourth quarter, basically just sealing it for the Crimson Tide. I will say though, what's lost in that conversation is Alabama threw an RPO with less than 2 minutes that ended up incomplete and gave Texas A&M a chance at the end. So I'm not letting Alabama off the hook, but A&M also fumbled the bag in that game.
Well, they punted on the game, and then they still had a chance somehow. Like it was,
just absolute madness. We are back. We have come full circle. Bama is the best team in the West. If I have to say so myself,
give it a couple weeks.
I don't know why I did the whole round robin. I'm pretty sure in the college football preview, we even said Bama was going to be like, usually when this stuff happens, Bama is the team that comes out on top, and Bama looks like the team that's going to come out on top.
Man, dude, This SEC West is just atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. But it's honestly to the point now where it's starting to get kind of fun to watch. And I hate that it's fun now, but it's been a blast for me personally.
Yeah. I wrote down that UCL, it's Thursday now. I'm about to, as soon as we're done with this, I'm going to watch Chiefs Broncos. But UCLA, did they play? Who did they play, man? I wrote down that their defense was legit because their pass rush was getting out after, but I did not write who they played.
Hold on. One of us is going to get there.
It's a race.
I know they play Oregon State this week, and that's about all I know. So
that's why my brain is because I've moved on. We're in preview mode now.
Oh, they play Wazoo.
Wazoo, yes, absolutely, because they were harassing Cam Ward on the defensive line. That front has 3 really good pass rushers that they rotated in out with the I think they're the Grayson twins, and Laiatu Latu. They just absolutely harass Cam Ward all day. Shout out to their defense. I was really impressed with them.
Latu's such a refined pass rusher. Like I feel like people aren't talking about it a lot. I've heard a couple people kind of bring it up, but like his skill set as a pass rusher is so fun to watch.
I think if he didn't have any medical issues, he would be my top rated edge rusher for the next year's draft. He is so, we may have to do a film room on him. He is so good at pacing his rushes. He is so good at manipulating linemen without using any of his tools. And then the way he attacks them to get to he's advanced. He's advanced for a college guy. And it's kind of funny to watch him go against especially inexperienced offensive linemen. He can pick apart some poor freshmen.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch him go against the Beavers. Oh, what's his name? Gray, Joshua Gray.
Yeah,
he's about to rip him apart this week, man. Just based on the skill sets of the individuals. I feel like he's got the upper hand.
We'll get to it in the preview. That's one of my big things about that matchup coming up this weekend. So shout out to their defense. They look like a fun Pac-12 defense. Their poor offense, they're struggling. They got some young talent on their offense that they need to grow up quick.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about your Cats, Dog?
Not really. That dude. I was so excited going into that game. I was like, man, I think we really have a chance. I think we can pull this thing out if we just jump on it early. And that That first offensive drive for the Cats was atrocious. We had I swear 75 penalties on one drive. We could not get out of our own way. And then immediately following that drive, we have a defensive drive, just had them on 3rd and long. Oh, there's a 15-yard penalty. Have them on 3rd and long. There's a 15-yard. I was like, what are we doing? We had a chance and we just decided to forget how to play football. That was the most frustrating football game to watch.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I kind of feel bad for the Cats because I feel like the whole talk was this is going to be Georgia's only test before the SEC championship, and they came out and showed their teeth. They're like, this is not a test.
I don't know why Georgia decided to be back this last week, but that was kind of uncalled for.
It's kind of rude.
It's a high quality loss, though. It's a high quality loss. You got to say.
All right. The next thing, since we kind of already hinted at it, the next game I want to talk about was Miami, Georgia Tech. I have said multiple times on this show that Georgia Tech is feisty. They are not a bad football team. And then Miami played the fuck around and find out game and tried to run the ball with less than 30 seconds left and ended up losing to Georgia Tech 23-20. Everybody has made fun of Mario Cristobal for the just the whole thing.
Deservedly so. No, he's not innocent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's much deserved.
My favorite part, I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a clip going around of you can see a very small coach walk up to Mario and say, kneel the ball, kneel it. You can see it plain as day coming out of his mouth. That is his brother, Alex, who is the offensive line coach. The only one with common sense. He walked up and he was like, hey, man, kneel it. Kneel it. And nobody listened. He's standing. You can see there's Mario and then the offensive coordinator standing 2 or 3 yards in front of him. And Alex is standing in between them. It was so frustrating, man. That's why O-line coaches are the best. They're trying to get you to not do something stupid.
I feel like that's what I do every Friday, man. We're just hold on, let's think this through. Let's calm down. Let's think this through. We're gonna be all right.
We're gonna score some points.
I gotta get your opinion though. Are you pro or against those uniforms?
The Miami ones?
Miami ones.
Against. Not a fan.
Those are hard to look at.
They just weren't anything they didn't do anything for me. I like classic. I'm more of a classic traditional style uniform person. So that some of the flashy stuff I like. I do love that in this era, teams are willing to try more and more different things to kind of stand out and be different and kind of put their own spin on things. Like this coming up weekend, Tennessee's wearing checkered pants that, just like their end zones. I don't think it looks good, but I love that. I think Joe Goodberry retweeted it or whatever, but I was like, I don't think those look good, but I love that they're trying it. I love that college teams, especially because it's college, man, do cool stuff like that.
Let the players have a little bit of fun with it. And I'm sure it was me and 4 people watching it, but I watched the UTEP FIU game. I think that's who it was. Last night,
the Miami Vice one,
the Miami Vice unis, I kind of liked, and I liked the 503 on the field. That was a kind of a cool little game to watch, man. The Lambeau,
do more stuff like that. That's cool as hell.
I dug that.
But whatever Miami was wearing, that was trying too hard. You passed the trying too hard line on that one. All right. Now I get to talk about my cards. My undefeated Louisville Cardinals. My undefeated Louisville Cardinals. Undefeated. Beat a top 10 Notre Dame team. It was awesome. I was listening to the Shutdown Fullcast, and they described it perfectly. The Louisville offense is a 400 horsepower car with a 180 horsepower engine. The offense, you can see it. You can see all of the beautiful things that they're trying to do, but the players trying to execute it do not do it very well. They have the Jamari Thrash panic throw it. He's the F it. He's down there somewhere button, and they hit it absolutely the perfect amount of number of times a game, and it works out. Is it Jamar Jordan, the running back? He's electric. And they just play tough. You can tell they're such a well-coached team. Like I came away from the Notre Dame game just absolutely blown away with what they're doing in Louisville. I'm so excited for the rest of the season because after we just talked shit about Miami, that's the last test they have. Like that they play Pitt this coming up week, and then a bunch of ACC Atlantic teams that don't have great records this year. So like I'm pretty excited as a Louisville fan to see what's going on with the Cards this year. I think they could end up accidentally in the ACC championship game as long as they don't stumble, which is hilarious to me because I have been against Scott Satterfield for the past 3 years since that he came to Louisville. And they bring back a Louisville, like Jeff Brom was the quarterback for Louisville back in the day, back when I became a Louisville fan. And now he's the head coach. So I'm old. And it's very exciting to see this all come full circle and have Louisville be an exciting team again.
You heard it here first, folks. Louisville is winning the ACC and going to the playoff. Jared said it. You heard it here first.
It's definitely not going to lose the Pitt this weekend now that I've said all of that.
That's usually what happens to me is I talk a big game. At least it was Georgia was the first loss this year for the Cats, man. But usually it's like I'll be like, oh, we're undefeated. We're starting to roll. This team looks good. And then we'll lose to like some. I'm like, great.
I'm not trying to brag too much. Louisville beat NC State 13-10. Like, I know what I'm dealing with here. Like, don't get me wrong. But while it's right, like while I'm riding high, I'm gonna keep hyping them up.
Hey, Notre Dame's a good team, man. It's a good group of guys. And I mean, like you said, Louisville doesn't have the best. I feel like they're out scheming their players. Like like you said, they have always big, wonderful, grandiose ideas, and it's like, oh, we forget that the guys that we see every day are running this offense.
Yeah, and also L&N Stadium was so lit on Saturday night, dude. That was one of my favorite parts. Is that you could just hear the crowd through the TV. It was electric environment. Louisville fans, keep it up.
Get the camera to start shaking. That's like my favorite in college football. Man.
Yeah, you just
I guess what I get, I couldn't give two craps about whatever game I'm watching, but if I see that camera start shaking, I'm invested. I'm there.
Right. It's the meme where the dude like sits up in the gaming chair. He's like,
yes.
Camera starts shaking. It's time to crack another beer.
I'm juiced.
All right, let's do a quick recap of NFL football. I said the Bears are good because we said they're good. The Pats are dead. Patriots are dead. There's so much weird stuff going on over there. Everybody's wondering what Bill's doing, going to McDonald's after a loss. I don't know what's going on.
Me too, Bill. Me too.
That was my favorite thing Chad Johnson's ever posted. It's like Bill Belichick knows the value of a steady diet.
I would love the Patriots to get like a top 2, top 3 pick and just pass on not trade the pick, but pass on a quarterback because they're just that invested in the high quality quarterback that they run out there every Sunday. But I just say that'd be very Patriots of them, and I would enjoy that very much in April.
Mm-hmm. The next note I have is the AFC North going AFC North. Steelers beat the Ravens. Thought that was pretty funny.
That was a fun game to watch for a lot of reasons, man.
As Bengals fans, it was very enjoyable to watch those two teams struggle and the outcome not be what everybody expected it to be. Those are all things we love about AFC North football.
Love the North.
The Giants stink. The Lions look like a complete team. The Chiefs are rolling. I really want to shout out the defensive line. After Chris Jones came back, everything seemed to fall into place. They look so good. I feel like not a lot of people are talking about the Chiefs right now, and that's what makes them dangerous. So everybody talk about the Chiefs. So maybe they'll struggle.
Please hype them up.
We keep forgetting that they won the Super Bowl last year. Somebody talk about them.
They've won a couple recently. I think I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I just feel like they always try to make it's like the Travis Kelce post. What was that AFC Championship Super Bowl speech? Where like everybody doubted. I'm like, you were the Super Bowl favorites. They just like being the underdog, so I think they like that. No one. I mean, it's all about Taylor Swift.
Maybe this is what they think doubting it. Like nobody's talking about us. Like it's because you're boring, man. You just keep winning. Like
because you're just always good. What are we supposed to
bad? Like then we'll talk about you.
Oh man, I hate it.
And then also the 49ers are good. Here's my weekly 49ers are good. Please forgive me. The whole thing.
The 49ers will always be the best team in football as far as I'm concerned because every time we think they're not, they do this.
Yeah. Everybody's wondering if Brock Purdy's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback because the Niners are a good team. Not that hard, guys.
And there you have it. That's the show. Draft analysis, quarterback evaluation, football recap. That's all we need. That's what we're done. We're done.
Yeah. So that was last week in football.
Football was played.
Football was played. We watched it. It has been discussed.
Man.
I'm pulling up the film room for all of our YouTubers watching my eyes fly all over the screen here. I think we doubled our YouTube views on our last video. I could be wrong here, but I'm just going to say that as
a Dexter performance, man. Everyone's like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. I got to go watch that.
So we're going to try it again. Let's see if we can boost someone's performance. I'm sorry, Bengals fans.
Weird cut here.
Oh yeah, weird cut here. Did you happen to listen to the last the audio version?
I loved every.
it was literally like, and here's the weird cut, and it was like boom, and it was 30 minutes later. It was a well done. I was pretty proud of that one.
You gotta add a little. Anyway, what do we got? What do we got today, buddy?
We got Derek Hall. He was I believe my 4th ranked edge rusher in last year's draft class. It's this guy here, number 58 for the Seattle Seahawks. He was a 2nd round pick, early 2nd round. I know he was early because I think he was picked 36 or 37 because on my shadow team, I had picks 3 and 25. And when the 2nd round rolled around, I was like, oh my God, Derek Hall's still here. I am going to pick him. And I did. So this not only is a film update for all of you that follow the Big Boy board, for anybody that follows my threads and all of that fun stuff. God, I lost my.
I'm mad that you got him. I really wanted him on my shadow team.
Shadow team, yeah. So this is going to be a whole thing for my shadow team and my updates. And I had a lot of fun with these 4 games from the Seattle Seahawks because they already had a bye, which is super stupid. Why is a bye week 5?
Yeah,
I wanted another game.
Bad.
Because the first game here against the Rams, he didn't play very much. He started rotating in more as the season went along. And you will see later on against the Giants, he had a pretty good game. I think everybody on the defensive line had a good game.
They had 11 sacks, Jared. I don't know who had.
Yeah, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, he probably didn't play as much as I think he did. And I think there might only be one clip from the Giants game in this whole thing. But yeah, a couple things I really liked about Hall coming out. He is a more compact edge rusher. He's 6'2", 250. He's got great length, though. Tested like a freak athlete, like you would expect from early second round pick. Edge rusher, premium position, all of that fun stuff. But I love the way he played. He plays a very physical style, he uses his strength and length to establish good edges. He uses a great burst and a complement of bull rush, stab, and moves off of those, which we'll see in these clips. But overall, he's whenever I evaluate edge rushers, he is my favorite kind of edge rusher to watch. Someone that's kind of in between a traditional 4-3-3-4 guy, a guy that can do a little bit of everything. He drops in coverage, like he does a bit of everything, and he does it extremely well, especially for a rookie. So let's dive in. Do you have any thoughts or anything on Derek Hall before we start?
I took a gander into some 2022 J.C. Latham film from Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
and Derek Hall tried to run straight through his face, and I instantly fell in love again. So
Yeah,
I was very, very high on Derek Hall. Just loved watching his film. I thought he was a pretty complete prospect coming out, man. That's why I wanted him on my shadow team. I picked a little later. You got him on your shadow team, and I hate you every day for it. But I'm excited to get this.
Yeah, so from my shadow team, because the guys that run our shadow team are awesome. They put PFF scores and snap counts into our little spreadsheet. So I know he plays about 20 snaps a game. So I went through, watched all of his snaps from every game so far this season, and I found some really fun stuff. So first game of the season, LA Rams. This is Alaric Jackson. He's played pretty well this year so far. He has been their starting left tackle for most of the season. This is Derek Hall's second NFL snap, his second pass rush. It's not a get after the quarterback, because I mean he's so far out here on the edge. You'll see this a couple of times. It's something Seattle asks, especially their edges, to do, is to line up outside of the tight end like this to maintain outside leverage. They don't want anybody outside of their edge players. Like this is the other side, and you see how far his split is off of the tackle.
Mm-hmm.
They do that for running defense. You'll see their linebackers more stacked on the interior. I believe they're running a 3-man front here. Maybe this is just Bobby Wagner. But they do run a lot of 4-man fronts, and you'll see this is 97 Mario Edwards Jr. And then this is, oh man, I can't see numbers. My screen's so tiny. It's either Draymond Jones or Jaron Reed. But anyway, they mostly just take up space. They really want to isolate their edge rushers against tackles. They want that to be a one-on-one matchup, and they want these guys to kind of maintain outside in the case of outside runs. So that's how they play their
draw the 3-man slide is I think what they're going for, because if you can draw the 3-man slide and go man up on the backside and really spread them out like that, you just open yourself, especially like if you're going to start running stunts off these edges, which I'm sure they do. I mean, it really just gives you a really opportune situation to do that. So
that was a much better explanation than the way I was trying to do it. But yes, they're trying to get protections to move also. So you'll see some wide alignments from Hall. But yeah, man, I just like that he immediately, you can see he's closing that angle. He is going to attack that outside half of Jackson. Jackson tries to get there, and we'll see this a couple of times. He will get the tackle to move perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, and then he will try to pry him inside. It's his go-to pass rush move, really. You'll see it's an inside stab. He'll set his inside hand first and then place his outside so that he can get the tackles to reset. And when they take their hands off of him, he tries to shove them more outside, more up the arc, and move inside. He's able to get, as you see, he gets that inside hand moving. He's got Jackson off the ground. And as soon as Jackson hits the ground, he swats the only hand that he has left on him and finishes the pass rush. This was actually a cover bust. So they're trying to get that one-on-one matchup. And the reason Stafford doesn't have to hold the ball, you'll see Here comes the tight end. He's trying to pass him off.
Go!
So the pass rush didn't have any time to develop there. So as good as a rep that was, it was all in vain.
I just got to say, I don't know who you think you are trying to get me to watch an edge rusher when I got Steve Avila picking up a twist right in the middle of the field on the same play. I don't know. You're trying to test me here or
is
what?
that all you were watching?
I was trying hard not to. I promise.
The next game's the Lions game, and that I am telling you right now was so distracting. They even had backups in, and I'm like, ooh, that's a nice run. Like, oh shit, how many plays did I just watch before I missed Hall going in?
Man.
All right. This is the exact next play. Third NFL snap.
Tighten down on
it. I like that you said that, because what happens is there's action away. So as an edge rusher, you're told to close.
Yeah, he's coming. I don't know who gets the ball, but it ends poorly. Oh, yeah. Oh.
So LA tries to do something a little tricky. Ooh, shit. Too far.
I'll watch the stunt pickup again. It's okay.
So LA, this is Tutu out here on the wing. Cooper Kupp, tight end. So they're just fucking condensed over here. So they run this outside zone, but Atwell comes in motion and he gets the ball. But Hall, you'll see a lot of guys just chase the tackle in. You can see his eyes. He's looking for the ball, and he sees Atwell's, what do they call this? The basket? What do you call that? Bread basket? The handle.
I'm not going to lie.
He sees it all. He sees the ball. He sees that this is coming to him. So he gets upfield.
Hello.
And he's right there to make a play. Problem is, Tutu Atwell's real small. He's real fast, and he can get out of a lot of trouble. Thank goodness for his slot defender beating his block and being able to make and trip him up here on the play. But I really like that he kept his eyes on the ball there, so that he didn't get fooled. He stayed extra disciplined on a misdirection, which is something you see rookies. You even see it in college, just like in normal college tape. You see it all the time, but he stayed disciplined and was able to make the play on the goal line. So I thought that play was a really good start for Hall. All right. This next one, this is him setting an edge. So, right tackle, this is not Penei Sewell. Sewell is playing left tackle. This is their backup. I forget his name. I'm not going to look it up right now. We're doing film room. Film room's more important.
Yes, it is.
So this is him just setting an edge against the Lions. You can see he's got his eyes up. He's got extension. He's holding the edge.
He got inside, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that he's so good with that torque, wrenching dudes with his inside leverage just all the time. And then he does a great job shedding there. That's another thing. A lot of guys, especially young guys, they have a lot of time hard time disengaging, especially from veteran NFL players when they come in the league. So I was really impressed with Hall's ability to disengage and hold the point of attack on that play. That is something I know, like, everyone's gonna be like, well, that was kind of a boring play. That is something you're asked to do like 15 snaps a game. Like, if you can't do that consistently, you're not going to play. So that the fact that he can show that and shows it pretty consistently, I think consistency, once again, young player, first couple reps in the NFL, there's going to be inconsistencies, but the fact that he's showing this higher level, basic kind of stuff is very encouraging, I think, for Seahawks fans.
Well, and like the crazy thing to think about, like, this tackle's only job is to get him outside, right? And it's like, just beat him inside. We don't even need it. You don't need to drive him out. Just get inside leverage and keep him out of the play. We're going to run it right inside of you. And that's where that inside extension from Hall is just like, just getting that lever up, like just getting into that armpit and driving out, like that kills the entire play. Because there's a lane right there. If he doesn't extend on that inside shoulder, like they're gonna break that open because they kind of have a nice lane built up because 8 vacates for whatever reason.
Yeah, this is another reason I was so high on him. You can see his football IQ. Like, he's reading this. He doesn't have his head down. He's not struggling to deal with the tackle here. He is reading his keys. He's keeping his leverage. And when it's time to pry open the hole and disengage, he does all the things you want him to do.
Yeah, he's the tackle is merely in the way. He's playing the running back, and it's crazy to watch.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like, people kept calling him undersized. Like, I don't care how small you are. If you can do that, he was doing it in the SEC. You said you were watching J.C. Latham. J.C. Latham is 6'6", 6'7", 330 pounds, all of it. And his film is littered with, like, ridiculous strength. And he was doing this kind of stuff to J.C. Latham.
Well, I brought up, I mean, he came out, played one of that game, and tried to run straight through his face to set the tone. Like, he's not scared of contact, and he's strong. He's sneaky strong, man.
He is incredibly strong. Him and Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith and him both had very similar grades. I just like Hall more because he was, like, thicker. Like, he felt like he played stronger than Nolan Smith did. Smith is incredibly smart. I think he did such a great job playing with his frame on the edge. We could talk about this some other time because I love Nolan Smith. I hope he starts playing more. He was the edge rusher I picked before Derek Hall on my shadow team. So we're hoping.
That's what we were talking about the other day. It's like this. Sometimes the situational football is going to screw us in this shadow thing, man.
It really is.
Oh.
All right, let's get to this next play. So this is Hall here it's a backside. I think it's an outside zone run. Just hauling ass, man, dude. You can't replace hustle. And my favorite thing about Hall is, like, his like he doesn't show his athleticism. Like, I feel like he's just, like, kind of, like, calm whenever he's out there. He always just kind of seems like nothing's really bothering him when you kind of see him outside of plays and stuff. But then he does stuff like this where he takes one step, sees this outside zone away from him, and just cuts down the line, dude. It's so impressive.
But it's fun to watch because he has that patience too, right? Because, like, if you're just knifing in whenever you see action away, they're just gonna boot you. But, like, he takes that first step, and he has, again, eyes in the backfield, really high IQ guy, watching the play develop, and once it's gone, like, he's going. Once he sees the basket, he's gone.
Yeah, it's just like, that's just knowing your keys, knowing what you're supposed to do, doing your job at a high level. That's what you're looking at right there. It's not even a whole step, man.
No.
He, like, takes a false step with his inside foot and goes, oh shit, and just cuts the ball's ass. Yeah. He knows it's run all the way. All right. This one, this is just another to kind of build off of this. Another high level. This is a high IQ play. He sees he's got a jump set straight to him. So what's that mean, Parker?
I don't know what you're asking me.
It means it's a quick pass. If you're jump setting like that in the NFL,
I don't know. You're asking
pass.
what he's doing. Jump set. It's going to be your 1 to 3 step drop, and you got to go. You got to go now.
So he sees the jump set. He gets extension. He can see he's looking for the chip to see if he's getting some help. And he stops his rush because he expected chip help. He didn't get it. His eyes are up. He sees that they've already got pressure in Andy Dalton's face, and it's a quick concept anyway. Get your hands up, man.
When he saw the back release instead of chips, he's like, well, I'm going to cover the back then.
Yeah. Doink.
I know I have the check down. I see that he's got pressure. I know it's quick.
Yep.
I bet he lives in the film room, man, because he just knows. He knows a lot. He looks smart.
I feel like his IQ is showing more in the NFL than it did in college. I thought he was more of a sledgehammer and stuff in college. This is more like, oh, he knows what he's doing. All right. This next one, this is going to be him here. This is that pry. This is going to be a full rep of that inside pry against a first top 10 level offensive tackle.
This is your guy, right? Left tackle?
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, I was like, oh my gosh, there's the video. Fuck up.
Oh no!
So this is what I wanna show. So he's been, I don't know how to describe this. This is the first time I've ever had to describe a pass rush like this. So what he's doing, you have an empty set here. So ball's got to come out quick again. The shortest path to a quarterback's a straight line, right?
Straight line inside, yes, sir.
So with his alignment, he is trying to get Icky to either meet him out here or take a set in between him and the quarterback. What do you think, Icky, being an NFL a film guy, what do you think Icky decides to do?
I was going to say, he's probably going to hit him with a 30 or a 45 and try and beat him to the spot, get that inside punch, and just try and keep you wide, keep you flat, open up a throwing lane on the inside. So, because especially with the wide 9, I'm expecting you to come kind of that steep angle right off my hip. So I'm just going to try and meet you out at the point.
So, with that in mind, the first move Hall does is instead of attacking that angle, he attacks upfield.
It's vertical, yeah.
He gets vertical. So what's he trying to do? He's trying to open Icky's hips.
Which he does.
And as you can see, it worked beautifully. Icky is perpendicular on the third kick step of his pass set. He is completely sideways. So as you can see, Hall still has his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. His inside hand is ready. He's going to hit Icky right up under the shoulder pad. He's going to launch him forward, and he's got the clear inside path to Andy Dalton. Andy, bet he's gonna hit the hot. So once again, beautiful. If that was anything Andy Dalton was holding on to, or even taking another step in his drop, Hall's getting there. So
like if you hitch once, like you're getting hit at least. Like
that
was 1, 2, 3 out. Like he's got to get that out quick.
Yeah. So
it's crazy for Icky though, because I mean, I've watched college, but I don't watch him in the NFL a lot. But I gotta assume from what we've just seen tonight, he's got that good inside punch. Like, why are you letting them take you vertical like that? Like, you should anyway.
He's always been bad about staying square. That's more of an issue from college. I thought he did a pretty good job last year improving throughout the season of changing that because he varied up his sets a lot more last season. I haven't watched him all this year, but I feel like he's kind of regressing back to what he was comfortable with a little bit in the Frank Reich system. But that's just my thoughts and opinions real quick on Icky.
That's why I thought he was a guard.
You're wrong. So, once again, tight end, wide alignment, the person that's supposed to block him. This is just example of his motor. This is a stunt that goes kind of, it just gets real weird. But even though it gets weird and muddy, Hall still is able to get pressure on the quarterback. So I just wanted to show you, like, he's still giving incredible effort and stuff every play. I think this is like late third, early fourth quarter. Like they're like, the Giants are pretty much buried at this point. So there's not a whole lot of reason, especially when a play goes like this, to give the effort. But I just like that he gave this additional effort. So you get just the most awkward chip ever because Hall's trying to keep him on an inside release. And I'm pretty sure Waller is just like trying to spill out here, but they just kind of
Neil throwing Waller out of the club.
And Evan Neal's like, get the fuck out of my way. And as soon as he does, Hall's like, oh, thank you. I've got all of this room.
Goodbye.
I can do this and get pressure on the quarterback, which leads to an interception.
You gotta imagine, like in the film room, that goes like, Evan, why are you blocking? If you would have put hands on the DN, we would have been just fine. Why are you blocking the tight end? Oh, that's
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
so I just want to like, I really like what I saw from Derek Hall. Like I said, the consistency needs to get better. Not something I'm going to harp on. He's still a young player. I think he's the second best edge player for Seattle right now. They have Uchenna Nwosu, who I think is their best edge player right now. He's number 10. And then they have Boye Mafe, who's starting over both Derek Hall and Daryl Taylor. Daryl Taylor's more of a change up to the other three. They rotate all four. They'll play both sides. They'll move them all over the place. They'll move them, all over the place on the edge. They'll switch sides. They move them in and out. They're very multiple in their fronts. But Hall, I feel like him and Nwosu would be a very dangerous duo. And it's one of those things where you see like a rookie is playing better than a Maffei's not even like a vet, but he's playing better than him. Like, just give him the reps. Like, just let him play. Just give him more development. Like, Nwosu plays the most out of all of them. And I really think Seattle would benefit from having Hall and Nwosu as their starters, as their main two. They need those two, I think, on the field more than any of the other ones, because they're just you can just tell there's such a different vibe when those two are on the field together.
Well, it's like what you talked about last week, where it's like sometimes I feel like these NFL teams can be kind of stingy, and they're just like, oh, I'll stick with what I know. I'll let this rookie develop a little bit. As they start improving, maybe we'll work him in more. But it's like sometimes it's like, just take the shot. Just let him go get his. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then we can kind of pull back a little bit. But especially like early in the year, I feel like teams are so afraid to try new stuff out, and they kind of get experimental later in the year if the season's not going so well. But it's like if you do this week 2 or 3, like 1 through 4, like early in the year where you kind of have that wiggle room, you could really find some golden nuggets, man. That's like we talked about that last week with Dexter. We're talking about it with Hall now. It's like, let these young guys have some run and show you the juice, man. Let them show you the juice.
Yeah, especially because like those teams are like Seattle's young anyway. Chicago's young. Like, give these guys more opportunities. You don't need vets taking opportunities from players that you drafted early and can build around. Like, we're just wasting time at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I am pulling up something because we are gonna build off of what we just did on the film room, and we're gonna talk some edge players. So we just watched Derek Hall. He was a top 5 edge for me last year. So let's talk about and kind of preview this upcoming week all at the same time. Let's talk about some edge rush draft prospects for the 2024 draft, Parker, because you asked me the other day. We had I'm gonna keep calling it a pre-production meeting in my brain where we just didn't have enough time to record a full podcast, so we just gave each other notes.
Like 30 minutes. I like it.
we gave each other homework, basically, where I had to go do a film room and Parker had to watch edge players and give everybody his thoughts. So,
I did watch. I did watch D-line. Jared's teaching me how to watch D-line prospects. I said, hey, give me a few. I want you to give me some top-rated guys. I want you to give me some guys you like. I want you to give me some guys that you think I'll like to watch or I should watch, and then I'll put them in an order, and then we'll see where we go.
All right. So what I did without you really knowing was I gave you my top 5 edge rushers for the 2024 class to watch because you said just give me 5. The only one I didn't give you was Latu because I don't have enough cut-ups and stuff of its film. Or did I give you Latu?
You gave me Latu. I watched Latu.
Then I gave you my top 5 edge rushers for the 2024 class so that we can talk about them, so I could get your opinions on them. So I gave you the names. I want you to put them in order from your least favorite to favorite.
Oh, boy. Okay. Actually, I was just looking through my list again, and I thought I only watched 4, but it appears that I did watch all 5.
All right.
I did my homework, teacher. I did it.
So, I feel like number 5 is going to tell me what kind of edge rusher you like.
Well, so I consider my 5th an incomplete evaluation because the game that I watched, I only watched one of his games so far.
Okay.
In really in depth. And he didn't have a lot of, I didn't see him pass rush a lot. And so I couldn't really evaluate him as like a full-on pass rusher. But I know I'm going to like him based on just already what I saw. So he's currently my 5, probably moving up the board. But I have Chop Robinson at 5.
All right. Only one game of Chop Robinson could probably would definitely leave you with that conclusion.
Yeah.
He would be, for me, number 1.
I was gonna say, I know you love him, so I need to watch more. And like I said, we had our pre-production meeting on, what was that, Tuesday, and then I watched
Tuesday night.
Yeah, and so like I tried to get through some edge players, some DIs, and so I only got one game in, but I did like what I saw. I took some notes, but I think he's got it, man. Like he's he's a dog. He looks really strong. But yeah, I need
he
him.
reminds me a lot of the style.
Finish, man.
He reminds me a lot of the style of like Derek Hall and Nolan Smith, like this stocky, compact, like just absolute menace. Stronger than he looks, like definitely more bendy, got more burst. Like he's 100% my style of edge rusher. So
I gotta say, like listening to you talk about him and then pulling up the film, I was like, is this the right guy? Because like I'm like, this is not what I expected to see. And then I saw like his first couple reps, and I was like, holy hell, this guy's got some power, man. Like he's gonna bring it.
Yeah, I'm a big Chop Robinson fan. He is, like I said, he's my edge 1 right now. I haven't watched much of this year. I watched 3 games last year: Ohio State, Michigan, and Purdue. And I think he's the real deal. So big fan of Chop Robinson. Who do you have at number 4?
I got 2 games of this guy actually, just because I already watched one earlier. But I have Jared Verse at number 4 out of Florida State.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. So I feel like you have the opposite taste of me. Because Jared Verse would be ranked number 2 in this class for me. I think he's got incredible length. He's so strong, especially at the point of attack. And I think, especially in the run game, his motor is relentless. He will chase down the ball. He will make plays. Just all kinds of good stuff coming from Jared Verse.
I love his play strength, and he's got explosiveness off the ball, right? Like he'll get off the ball, and he's got some pop. But what I didn't really like he doesn't really have much going on as a pass rusher, at least the couple of games I've watched so far. He doesn't really have a lot. He doesn't do a lot with his hands. I feel like is kind of a bull rusher and will work a shed or maybe like a late chop. And that's really what dropped him for me, is because I like some of these more toolsy pass rushers, especially, if you're bringing the Thunder, that's a completely different game, like a Derek Hall or even a Chop Robinson. Like I know I'm going to like him, but I don't think he has that pop. So I'd like to see him be a little bit more toolsy. That's why he fell for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Last year, if he had come out last year, which a lot of people expected, he would have fallen behind Derek Hall and Nolan Smith on my big boy board. He would have been a late first round, early second, and he just hasn't done a whole lot to improve my opinion of him. He still uses that long arm. He still uses a stab. That's his main pass rush, and he doesn't build much off of it. But his athleticism lets him get away with it, especially at Florida State. So it's going to be one of those.
Crazy. You said, he'll run stuff down, and like if he feels like he can make a play, he's going to try and make a play. But I feel like there's times in the pass rush where he's like, well, I used my stab, it kind of got shut down. I tried a secondary move, it didn't really happen. I'm just kind of. But anyway.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. So moving on, who do you have at number 3?
Well, we should have the same guy on this one if we're going in the proper order.
I don't know.
But
I don't know, because this is where I get weird would be number 3 for me.
I don't know. But 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 I I have Dallas Turner at 3, but I really like what I saw, and I'm excited to watch some more games. But dude, he's got some burst and he's got some pop in his hands. He brings it. Like there's a couple times where he'll lift tackles off the ground just with his punch, like without lifting or like he punches dudes in the mouth. And I love like watching him was a blast.
Yeah, I thought he was an excellent compliment to Will Anderson last year because
Yeah.
Will was a very savvy guy, and Dallas was able to really build off of that. So I'm really excited to watch Dallas this year when he's going to be the feature of Alabama's pass rush. Like we've mentioned it in the show before. He's leading the country in pressures. He's leading the SEC in sacks. Like he's putting up numbers. I personally don't like the smaller, bendier, speedier guys because they usually don't hold up very well in the run. But from what I've read, what I've seen about Turner this year is he's bulked up a little bit and he's been playing the run very well. So I'm excited to dig into this film. I think Turner, for me, has the most room to move up my board throughout the process. So I am also a very big fan of Dallas Turner. He would be my edge 4 right now.
He just plays. He looked like he played so much bigger than he looks. Like when you first pull up the film or like pre-snap, like he looks like he's gonna be a bendier guy. But then like again, he holds his he like defensively anchors pretty well. And then again, I couldn't get over like his burst off the line and then just the way he punched some of these guys in the chest was like.
I'm sorry, he's my edge 5. I said edge 4, but he's my edge 5 right now. But that, like I said, I haven't updated anything from this year.
It's still early. Hey, it's October 12th, Jared. I think we're the only people that have really.
You saved the hardest to pronounce for last.
I did, and maybe that's why they have football names, Jared. That's all obvious.
Right.
No, so my number 2 is Laiatu Latu. I think he's exactly what I like to see out of my like kind of these smaller. I think he's smaller. I haven't looked up measurements, but he looks smaller.
250. He's not small.
He looks long though. He's tall.
Yeah.
And he looks lean. Like he doesn't look like a thick dude. And so what I was hoping to see out of him was I wanted to see more bend, but I don't really care about bendy if you can get in a guy's face, but he's got great hands. Like it's hard to get hands on that guy. And that's where, whether it's the run game or the pass game. And I said the same things about like, Johnny Newton, where it's like, if you can't get hands on a defender, he's going to be a better defender. And that's where I just think where I didn't like the hands that, Jared Verse was using. It's very exactly the opposite where I don't think Latu brings a lot of punch, but you can't touch him. And that's where I'm just like, well, I mean, if you can't touch him, you got to go up the board.
He's such a savvy player. He, you can kind of tell he toys with offensive tackles. He's so good at changing. I don't think he's gonna test as a very athletic person. He's got great like burst and like moves and stuff. But for me, it's just like quick twitch, like body stuff. Like he's always kind of like working an angle. You'll see like 2 or 3, like he'll kind of bait tackles for reps. Like he'll take 2 or 3 plays to build a pass rush move. He paces his steps. Like he does some pretty high IQ stuff for a college player, and it's really fun to watch. So Laiatu Latu, he would be my edge 3. And it's only because of his medical concerns. He medically retired from Washington and then transferred to UCLA where they let him play. Other than that, I think he would be my number 1 edge rusher.
Well, that's where I haven't, done the background check on it.
And I think he's older too. And I think both of those things, if both of those didn't exist, he would probably be a top 10 lock in my opinion.
Dude, yeah, he's fun to watch, man. And then
go ahead. Say number 1, man.
Dude, I love watching it. That was fun.
It's so fun.
JTT, because I'm not even going to try and say you
Tui Maloau.
Dude, he brings the juice, man. He's fun to watch.
He's a playmaker.
I think he had the highest motor out of all 5 guys that I watched. I mean, he's getting after every single play, whether he's on the backside, front side, or chasing the pass down the field. Like he's flying around. And he's another guy that I don't think used his hands very well, but it's because he has so much explosiveness and power that he can generate from his lower body through his hands. Like he's moving people and throwing them around. Like I could watch his film all day. He was a blast to watch. And that's where I don't think I initially wanted to put him that high just because of his hands. But the more I watch this film, like when I want to watch your film this much, I have to put you higher on the board because it was just a blast. I'm excited to watch more games of his because he just brings the juice, man, and it's awesome.
Yeah, you could not be paying attention to him at all, and he'd be like, "Man, 44 is around the ball a lot."
Yeah,
he's just one of those guys that he's always like. It's like he knows what's coming. He must also be a film rat, man, because I feel like he has such a good feel for what's coming at him. My favorite thing, I know you noticed this too, whenever he's reading a mesh point between a quarterback and running back, he screams at the quarterback. He doesn't care about the mesh point anymore. He's just going to take the quarterback's head off. And he made so many plays. That Penn State film, you texted me about it. I was like, yeah, man, that's one of the most fun. He had like 4 turnovers forced or something in that game.
Dude, it was wild. And it didn't stop. And I think I'm trying to, dude, there were so many plays where I'm like, I'm going to start clipping this film and just posting it for fun because I need more people to see this. This is crazy.
It's like my whole thread is just that whole game. And it's like, he's like booping balls into his fellow defenders. He's dropping into coverage, getting interceptions. It was so crazy. I 100%, I know why anybody would put him as number 1 because he's incredible to watch. I personally think he's a little undersized. I think he's like 6'3", 6'4", 250, 260, somewhere in that range. And he doesn't have a whole lot to his pass rush, and I don't think he's very athletic. I think he's kind of in the Latu, like more bursty or anything, and he's more at like he will take the fight to offensive tackles more than Latu will. Like I think he's more of a bruiser kind of every down kind of guy, but he makes so many plays and stuff. It's you kind of forgive him for it.
Well, it's like him and Latu. Like if you could put them on opposite ends, that'd be a lethal 1-2 punch because they're like the polar opposite player. I think.
Yeah, and you could like they both play both sides. Like you can just switch them around and whatnot.
But that's it's crazy to watch, and that's where he looks like when you watch his film. He looks just like an undersized 3-tech. Like he looks like a guy that you'd like to just be a little bit bigger and put inside, just get some juice in your pass rush. Because I didn't love watching him in coverage. I didn't love watching him try to edge rush. But like when he's able to run stuff or just try to run through an offensive tackle's face, that's where it's like, yeah, that's what I want you to do every time. But then it's like once he faces some of these bigger guys, they're able to jam him up a little bit, and he has to try and work around. You can kind of see his limited like toolbox when he starts trying to have to move around some of these tackles. And
it's like a jack roll, like a stand-up edge player, but like they don't use him like that all the time because he's not completely athletic enough. Like he has a very specific role in Ohio State's defense, and I feel like to reach his full potential in the NFL, he'll have to play a very similar role or the exact same kind of role.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how he translates. He's a guy where, like you said, like I think he fits his college scheme really well. And you see this at multiple positions, like almost every position, right? Where it's like, you hear the whole, is he a scheme quarterback or is he a good quarterback? And I feel like that's where he could end up in a system that he could totally bust out because he just doesn't fit the scheme. But if he ends up in a place that with a coach that knows how to use him and knows his skill set, then he could really just maximize that ceiling. And so I'm really interested to see A, how he develops throughout this season, and then B, where he kind of ends up and how they use him.
Oh no, he's a New England Patriot. that's exactly where he's going. And of the 5, I would be least surprised if Tuimoloau was the one that fell out of the first round.
Yeah, no, I think he's got a decent floor. He's just not very toolsy. He's more of a project guy if you want to use him as an edge rusher. But his ceiling, I feel like, is the highest of the group almost.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because he loves
so let's get to some previews because we are already over an hour and we gotta get this thing.
Except for the audio listeners, we still have time.
Do we? We have time.
They didn't watch.
Well, yeah. I mean, it probably. Oh gosh, it was that was a pretty short film room.
Pretty quick.
That was pretty good. That was a pretty quick one. All right, let's do some college football previews. We got some big games. We got Oregon, Washington.
Excited. So
excited. This is the PB&J College National Championship for the Pac-12. We will make that trophy for the winning team.
We'll mail it out there. We're gonna send her out there.
Parker, he's in the Huskies corner, who are playing at home. I think the Ducks are going to win the 12. So it is going to be a battle. Me and Parker are just going to punch each other and see who wins, and that will be the outcome of the game.
Deal. Done. Well, it's funny because like I'm so high on Washington, but I think Bo Nix is one of my favorite quarterbacks in this class. So I'm like, I'm so torn personally, but I love this Washington team, man. I am so high on them.
I think Oregon's offensive line is going to be the difference in the game. I think if Oregon can get up early and run the football, I think they could really lean on Washington and win the game pretty handily.
Well, Washington's offense, I feel like, is such a roller coaster. Like, not like maybe like game by game, but quarter by quarter. Because like there's times.
Can you hear that? Okay.
I can hear it slightly in the background.
Okay.
Is that your yowler?
No, it's my baby monitor.
Oh.
But my dog is on the other side of the baby door, which, as you can see, totally affects my son. But I can hear him through my headphones and stuff. I can hear my dog screaming, but it does not bother him at all. I can't even focus, man.
I can't. Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything because I'm the one that always has the motorcycles and the cars.
It's me this time. I'm the problem. It's me.
Too much Taylor. Not too much Taylor for this podcast. But anyway, no, I think Washington, quarter to quarter. I mean, that their offense can look like they could be in the playoff, and then the next quarter, it's like they're not doing anything. And so that's where I agree. Where it's if Oregon can just be consistent through the first half, they could run away with this game.
Yeah, and keep Washington off the field. Like, how do you keep the explosive plays and stuff just keep them off the field?
Yeah.
Run the football, old school style. I also have A&M and Tennessee because I'm stupid and I learned nothing from my gambling adventures, and I took the A&M money line for this weekend. Somebody help me. I have a problem.
I love how I talked about how I loved A&M preseason, and I just keep trying to not think about it, but I'm glad you're leaning into it.
I'm just whatever. I'm never right about these things. Let's have some fun. I also put some money on Purdue this weekend because why not? Why not?
Go Boilermakers.
They play Ohio State for those wondering, but they play in West Lafayette. So go Boilermakers.
Go Boilermakers.
Iowa, Wisconsin. Are you excited?
There's going to be 4 points scored in that game.
I don't know, man. Go Wisconsin. I think they didn't play last week, or if they played, nobody cared.
Whether they did or not, nobody cared.
Iowa is so bad, man. They are not going to hit their points goal.
He's gone. He's done. He's done. I think out of spite, he should try and just actively score only 3 points a game for the rest of the season.
Their special teams is phenomenal. Go Hawkeyes. Louisville Pitt, we talked about it. Cards need to keep this winning going for my sanity.
I'm honestly rooting for you without rooting for you, because if I rooted for the Cards, I think I would no longer have a father. But since we can't go undefeated, I'd rather you win the ACC than Clemson or FSU. So,
yeah. And man, UK could really be the stumbling block at the end. So that could be, I could be down bad. That would put me down so bad if
I would love to ruin the perfect season. I would love that for the Cats.
They already got the ACC title game locked up. Like they're about to go and they just lay a big old freaking turd against the Cats.
I would love it. I wouldn't care. I mean, I've watched enough bad Kentucky football. They could go like what is it? Like you played 12 games, 10 games?
Uh-huh.
You could go 1-9, and if that one game is Louisville, I'd be a happy camper. That's all that matters.
Let's do this because it'll be Christmas time and whatnot when it'll be like early December. Let's put a bet on it. All right. So if loser of the game has to buy the winner has to buy the loser the winning team's t-shirt.
Done.
We're the virtual shake. We're virtually shaking on this bit. This is gonna happen. So me and you are gonna watch U of L UK at the end of the year. Not the basketball game. We're not talking about basketball. We're definitely not talking about basketball.
We can
basketball does not exist in my brain. It is a stupid sport. It never ever existed. But so whoever loses has to do the next podcast with that shirt on. So you will be rocking a bright red Louisville shirt, or I will be wearing the ugliest blue that exists on the planet Earth for the next show. So that'll be fun. Let's do that. It'll be a good time. I can't wait to shit talk up until that.
I'm gonna start now. I'm gonna start texting you every day.
UK got another recruit. Wait, what?
What are you talking about?
The game is this year.
Oh man,
I'm a terrible shit talker. So.
Me too. I barely shit talked when I was playing ball, let alone now. I'm fine away.
So I do have a funny story. I definitely was not a shit talker. I was on all the special teams. We were playing Grant County, and I went to go cover a punt, and I didn't see a kid trying to blindside block me, and he comes screaming, and like I feel him just, you hear the pop in your ear. It's like, and then I didn't move. I was like, wait, what? And I looked down, and he was on the ground, and I was like, and I like pointed. I was like, and I just like ran back to the bench. And one of my buddies, Steve, he came up to me. He was like, "Did you just laugh in that kid's face?" And I was like, "Oh, I guess so."
See, I was always the nice guy. I'd like pancake a kid and stand up and like I would stand over him and say, "Oh, great job, great rep, great job." I would just, that was my form. I was never like I'm going to kick your ass. It was always like, "Hey, that was a great rep," as I'm pushing off his face to stand up.
Yeah, I would only tell people to fuck off if they started talking shit to me. That's about that.
Or laugh in their face.
Or accidentally laugh in their face.
Man.
Let's stick with the rivalry theme. USC and Notre Dame play. I'm really excited for this game because it's going to be USC's like first real test, and Notre Dame's kind of reeling after 2 losses to ranked teams. So, it's in South Bend, so it's gonna be pretty exciting to see how that all shakes down. USC could end up with a pretty important loss, or Notre Dame could just free fall.
Start just spiraling, man.
Yeah, so that game is going to be really fun. I think it's the night game, so definitely stay tuned for that one. I bet that game is just end up electric.
Well, I feel like USC only knows how to either blow teams out or win by like 7 points. So we're just gonna hope for the latter, and then we'll watch a great little battle between the 70-year-old quarterback and the guy that says he might not go to the draft, depending on who sucks in the NFL this year.
Yeah, basically. And then we have Miami UNC. We'll see if Miami can learn how to kill the clock properly.
Odds aren't good.
Not good. And UNC and Drake May, they are a wagon right now. I'm surprised they're ranked as low as they are. They're like 14th or something right now in the country. I think a win against Miami would definitely give them the bump they deserve, in my opinion. I think they're the class of them and FSU are the class of the ACC right now.
I feel like that's low key a team that you don't want to play, but like everyone just doesn't talk about them. You know, where it's just like I don't want to play UNC this week, but I'm also not going to like go around town telling everyone how awesome they are. So
yeah. And then we talked about it earlier, UCLA and Oregon State. It's going to be an epic matchup, especially UCLA's defensive line against Oregon's offensive line. Just NFL players littered through those units. So that is going to be smash mouth football. It's going to be a really good time. And I think it's the Pac-12 after dark game. So 10:30. That's a Parker special game there.
That's made for me. NFL players and an 8 o'clock kickoff. That's my game, man. That's my game.
That is an hour after my normal bedtime.
That's right when I wrap up dinner. I'm just juiced, ready to go.
All right. Also, let's move on to some NFL games. Let's kind of get through these pretty quick. So we have Bengals Seahawks. I really wanted to talk about this game because I watched so much Seattle film this week, doing the film room. This is going to be a very exciting game. The Bengals look like they turned the corner kind of last week. We need to see if they can sustain that against a really good team. Yeah, at home. Seahawks are so good, I found, at sustaining drives. They are so good at mixing run and pass, taking shots. They have a lot of explosive runs, even with backup linemen. Like their entire offensive linemen, I think, are backups right now.
I think they're like talking about maybe Charles Cross is gonna play.
And that would be a huge help because Trey Hendrickson, we've talked about on the show, is an absolute wrecking machine. So it is, and the Bengals have struggled stopping the run. So it's a styles makes fights kind of matchup. Like something's got to give. The Bengals either got to start getting better at tackling and getting these runners down, or the Seahawks are going to run all over these guys and be able to control the clock and keep the Bengals' explosive offense off the field because T. Higgins is coming back. Also, with this matchup, because I watched mostly Seattle's defense, I think they are a very good matchup, like player and scheme wise for the Bengals. I mean, they play all of the West Coast Shanahan, McVay teams. Like they see a lot of this stuff that the Bengals are trying to do spread wise, and they have the players to keep up with them. So I am really excited to see this Bengals offense versus Seahawks defense.
Well, I think the underrated thing that you haven't brought up yet, which I'm disappointed in. Mm-hmm. We picked the Seahawks as the NFC trench unit of the season, preseason.
We did.
They were our NFC trench champions. And if you recall, Jared's AFC trench champions were the Cincinnati Bengals. So this is the Jared Super Bowl. This one is right here.
I have so many Super Bowls and national championships this week. I don't think I'm gonna make it.
It's gonna be a hard weekend on Jared's heart for sure.
I am too emotionally invested in all of this, and I have a lot of like family stuff to do this weekend. So I'm gonna be like,
not anymore, you don't.
Like side eyeing everything. People are like, what's wrong with Jared? He's paying attention to the football
game. He's very invested into sports this weekend. Sports ball is big for Jared this weekend.
Also want to shout out Ravens Titans, the London game this week. Two teams coming off weird losses that they wish they didn't have. They got the early game, they got the long travel. So I'm real excited to watch this game because I bet it gets weird. I bet it's the weirdest game of the week. Well, this would be the NFL sickos game.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there was two teams to play in a London game that just is gonna get funky, it'd be these two at this point in the season because I feel like neither of these teams really knows what they're doing. They're just kind of going out there and playing football on Sunday. So I'm excited to see because none of these London games have been normal. So why would this one be any different? And both of these teams are weird.
I wish they were doing the Toy Story version of this one.
Yes, I was just thinking that. I was just
this was the one they should have done.
Yeah.
Niners Browns trench fight. It's gonna be a trench fight.
Man,
Browns coming off a bye.
Fight. This one's
Niners are. They're in Eagles land. It's them and the Eagles right now, trench wise.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Lions are fully healthy, those three teams, best trenches. And the Browns. We're gonna throw the Browns in there too. Those are the top four.
This is good though, because I think
the upper quartile.
The Browns are a highly graded unit, at least in my eyes. And then you got the Niners who are like shredding every team they play on both sides of the ball. Like this game is going to be awesome.
Yeah. It's going to be so good. It's going to be such a good game. Then we got Bucks Lions, another Super Bowl for us because we've been riding the Bucks train. And they're wearing creamsicles. So money line, bet money line, because this is going to be a weird game. The Lions been riding high. They haven't lost yet. This one's coming. This what they're going to lose to the creamsicles in Tampa Bay.
Baker Mania.
Oh, did you see that Baker picked the Cardinals to beat Notre Dame?
Yes, I did.
I may be a Baker Mayfield fan. It has been such a heel turn for me. I used to hate that guy when he played for Cleveland.
You love him now, though, and he loves your team, man. Go Bucks, and I guess I can't say the other words, but we'll go.
He said go Birds. He didn't even say go Cards. You can say go Birds.
Oh, I can't. I have a family to keep.
Speaking of Birds, Eagles, Jets, also another trench fight. I think we both believe the Eagles defensive line is probably going to have its way with the Jets offensive line, but the Jets D line versus the Eagles offensive line is going to be electric. Definitely
watch this game when the Eagles are on offense, and you should enjoy it.
For sure. And then we have Monday night game. I wrote down Cowboys, Chargers. The Cowboys have lost 2 in a row. Chargers, I think, are coming off a bye. Did they play last week? Am I seeing things?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think who would have been on bye with them, though. While you look that up, though, we're going to get Micah Parsons and Rashawn Slater. Yes, please.
Yeah. It's going to be dope. It's going to be crazy. Also, Mozzie Smith versus Corey Linsley. That's going to be a good matchup.
Yes, sir.
Just going to keep. They didn't play last week, right? I'm seeing this correctly. Okay. Chargers were off, so they have super long bye to come and prepare for the Cowboys, who are Mike McCarthy and very hard. I have a Chargers money line on this one. I said, F it. I might as well. I hope they come out in the super powder blue. I hope they come out with powder blues and yellows that everybody hates.
I love those.
I like the yellow pants. I don't know why everybody hates the yellow pants.
It's a trench thing. You wouldn't get it. No.
People, it's like wearing the brown pants. It's like stuffing a sea of pee down your leg.
Oh,
maybe that's why. People are definitely going to hate it because I made that joke now.
Well, we love it, and that's what matters.
Yeah. All right. So that's the week coming up, I believe. Anything else? You got any other games? Any other news? No.
Chiefs are playing the Broncos right now, and I can't imagine that's going well.
Oh yeah, I might want to check that out.
I don't have it up anywhere, so we're gonna go into this thing blind, and hopefully, my least favorite thing is I usually come into Thursday night football late, and I hate when I get there and that's already like a 3-score differential. I'm like, is it worth like watching this? But I love me some Prime Vision, so I always watch the Thursday night game. I don't care who plays, I always watch it. So shout out Amazon for convincing me to watch Thursday night football, even though it's usually awful.
100%. I also just kind of throw on Prime Vision. I don't even watch the game. I just watch all the squiggles.
Exactly. Sometimes you get like the all 22, like the high angle for like a whole drive, and I'm like, yeah, I'm here for that.
Oh yeah, the Commanders Bears felt like it was on the freaking tallest building. The you know what I'm talking about, the Prime Vision. Like
no, I'm telling you, we were like in a drone.
They were using the Goodyear blimp for that one.
I was not going to complain though, because I was watching trenches the whole game.
Yeah, I love it. Everybody's like shouting out Darnell right after the game. I'm like, told you. All right. I want to watch some football. How about you?
I would love to watch some football. I also haven't eaten dinner because it's only 7 here. So I'll go eat some dinner, watch some football.
Sounds like a good plan, man.
You go take care of your baby who's unconscious and can't hear a dog.
Just out. Out. The baby. He sleeps through everything.
Let's go watch some mediocre football, Jared.
Yeah. So until next time, guys, we'll catch you on the other side of the games.
I'll see y'all sometime next week, I suppose.
Something like that. We don't know. We're bad at this. See ya.